right. Welcome back to the Royally Unapologetic podcast, where we are talking all about building brands that make people pleasers clutch their pearls and dream clients say, oh, hell yes, take my money. Let's get into it. All right. I have a confession, and this is very embarrassing to admit. And it's honestly like a little bit annoying because I pride myself on being the girl who always has the dream clients, who can get dream clients through her marketing super, super consistently. Literally every single client that comes through my organic marketing is a dream client. But I had my first ever demon client. I did. Every single client that coming through my organic marketing being a dream client every damn time, that is still true. That is absolutely still true. And the reason I have that and the reason I'm able to repeat that consistently over and over and over again is because of my 6 key concepts of energy framework. That is my signature brand building framework that infuses into high quality marketing so that you can connect and convert not just any random person that happens to need your service or the person who's looking for the best bang for her buck, so to speak. The thing is that somebody slipped through and completely bypassed all of my organic marketing. And during our vibe check call, I had a little inkling in my brain saying, this probably isn't the best person to work with you. And against my better judgment, against the instinct in my gut, because I couldn't see that blatant red flag, that bright ass red, I went against my gut intuition and I said yes when I should have said no. And let me just say, without spilling the tea, it did not go well. And I know that you guys can either see on YouTube or hear on the podcast the fluctuation in my voice and kind of like the joking nature. And that's because I'm coping. I joke around about this because that's the way that I'm getting through it. But honestly, this really upset me. And it ended with a call that was over an hour long. And basically the entire thing consisted of her berating my character, saying that I was basically like a horrible person, a bad business owner, that I was manipulative, that I was taking advantage of her, and the kicker, that I was against women. I'm not gonna lie, that really hurt. I have since watched the replay of this call, and you can see where I get really red, where I get a little bit emotional, but I just kind of held that in. I held firm to my boundaries, all of my contract stuff, and I did my best to give her the best that I could with the resources that I could, additional resources outside of what was contracted, because contrary to apparently her belief, I am a great person. Again, I'm joking, I'm laughing, I'm being semi-sarcastic just so I can get through this. But basically immediately after that call, I went to my boyfriend and I cried. I really had to just allow myself to take some time to feel the things that came up, which if you are a really driven person, maybe you have some trauma in your background, sometimes that can be really hard. But I allowed myself to feel what I was feeling. And some of the things that came up were the shame and the disappointment and genuine sadness that I wasn't able to give the client what she wanted. Some fear come up that this was going to harm my business in some way. I was experiencing some questioning, oh, fuck, was I wrong? Am I actually a bad person? Should I just have caved? Should I have neglected my contracts to just give her what she wanted? I was experiencing a lot of anger. I'm actually kind of an angry person. It's something that I struggle with a lot, and I've worked really hard to overcome. But I was angry at myself because I didn't listen to that gut intuition that I had on our initial call to not take her as a client. And I was mad that I talk so much in my content and my marketing about how I have these amazing clients, and I do, and how I have this amazing gut instinct, and I do. But this was that one moment where I didn't listen to it, and it burned me. I had this deep, genuine sadness and shock that literally anybody would ever think of me this way. If you have been in my space for any amount of time, you know that I am the opposite of who she's saying I am. It was like genuinely so upsetting to me in those moments to experience somebody saying that to me in the way that she said it, to have that type of a conversation. And I was just like so baffled and so upset. Anyway, I had my moment to be sad, and then I was just like, okay, you felt the feelings. That's good enough. You're not going to you're not going to wallow in this, and you are not going to let somebody's opinion of you dictate how you run your business, how you show up. And I had to remind myself of who I am, what I believe, remind myself of the results that I deliver. Like, even though I wasn't able to deliver what I wanted to for this specific client, that does not mean that every other win that my clients have had is insignificant. It doesn't mean that every other website I've designed is shit. I design great websites. I deliver amazing impact. And I had to remind myself, quite frankly, like, who the fuck I am. I had to really come back to myself and what I believe. And I had to remind myself that yes, she's entitled to her opinion. Yes, she is entitled to her experience, and whatever she garners about me or herself or the situation or whatever from that experience, absolutely entitled to it. However, her opinion of me, whatever her perception of me is, it doesn't actually have any real impact on who I am or the impact that I bring to the world. Her opinion does not change my character. Opinion does not change the impact that I drive for my clients. Her character doesn't change the increase that I see in my clients' income. It doesn't change the number of leads that my clients get. It doesn't change the drastic transformation that my clients see in the people that they attract into their containers after working with me. Her opinion does not change the results that I deliver. I could have let her opinion, her words, this experience deter me from showing up in my business the way that I meant to. But I held firm. I held firm in who I am, what I believe, and why I believe it. And let's just say it paid off. Because I shit you not even a week after all of the stuff with her hit the fan and went to shit, I was given a really, really amazing opportunity. Like, it literally just fell into my lap. This person came to me and they wanted me to be part of something that is so beautiful. And this person has been in my space for quite some time. And I can't give away everything about this yet. If you want more information, you should go to my email list, because that's where I'm going to be talking a lot about this in the coming months. But I got this really amazing opportunity to be part of something that is literally going to champion women, amplify their voices, teach, network, expand, like become this beautiful super connection network and share a lot of stories and experiences of women, specifically in the entrepreneurial space. And this girl who came to me literally like told me, she's like, you were the first person I thought of. I knew that you were going to understand the vision. I knew that you were going to think really big with me. And this is still in the very early stages of development, but like the fact that she wanted me to be on something this important and this beautiful and this magnetic so early in the process, and that I was the first person that she thought of, speaks volumes. And honestly, like, my heart is so happy. And the thing with this is that I was not chosen because of my skills as a designer. Like, yeah, sure, nobody wants a shitty designer to design their stuff, but the design side of this is literally something that I've never done before. Quite frankly, literally every aspect of this is something that I've never once done before. So it wasn't about my skill necessary. It wasn't about my skill necessarily, but I was chosen for this because of who I am, what I believe in, and how I show up in my work, what I talk about in my work, and how I work to help other women. And everything that I believe as a business owner, as a person, that is what got me this opportunity, not the fact that I can design really well, or like I can design cool shit. Sure. Like that's maybe a small part of it, but the connection with me as a human and what I believe in and what I stand for and how I show up in my work and how I amplify others' voices, that is what got me this opportunity. And that is exactly why it is so important to connect with people beyond the service that you provide. You hear me say this all the time in my podcast, in my content, on my TikTok, whatever, connecting with people beyond the service that you provide. And you do that by sharing your opinions, your values, your mission, not just your personality. Like, yeah, that's part of it, but you need to be able to connect with your audience in a way that actually impacts opportunity, that impacts your sales, because you are not just here to provide a specific service. Like, great, that's your job, but you're here to connect with other like-minded humans. You are here to impact lives in a really beautiful way. And you cannot do that if you don't know how to connect with people. Connection and infusing it into every layer of your business, your content, your communication, your work, your assets, your website, you name it. That is what I am teaching you inside High Voltage. I'm teaching you my signature brand building framework, which is literally, like I said in the beginning of this episode, that is literally the reason that my organic marketing brings in the most aligned humans ever. Obviously, like as you can see from this experience that I've had, that is the same work that has given me this opportunity, that brought this opportunity and plopped it in my lap. So if you want to learn how to build your brand through the lens of the 6 key concepts of energy, you're going to want to hop inside High Voltage. But the main reason that I am bringing this episode to you is because two things I want you to remember from this episode. Hello? I'm having a stroke. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll know what just happened to me. Oh, I'm so sorry. But there's two things that I want you to take away from this episode. And that's number one, share what makes you you. Connect with people beyond the service that you provide, because that is what allows you to not only sign the dreamiest clients ever consistently and effortlessly, but it opens doors to these really beautiful, magnetic, amazing opportunities and relationships. I only ever talked about my service. This opportunity never would have come to me. And number two, the last thing that I want you to take away from this episode is that do not ever let somebody's opinion of you stop you from being who you are, standing firm in what you believe in, owning your results, and showing up for your business. You know who you are in your core. That you see when you look in the mirror, when you do introspection, that is the true you. Nobody's opinion can change that. You might fuck up sometimes. Sure, you might have a bad experience sometimes, but that experience does not dictate the truth of who you are. And that is the main thing that I want you to take away from today, is to continue sharing who you are and to not let any circumstance or opinion change that for you. But anyway, if you liked this episode, please rate and review the show so that we can get this in the hands of more people. Share it with a business bestie. I have had so many of you guys responding to me recently about the podcast episodes, about my emails, and it makes me so happy to see how much this is resonating with all of you. And I want you to share this with more people. I want this to go into the hands of more people because, quite frankly, this podcast is really fucking good. But I want to impact you guys. I want to impact the lives of people. I want this message from this episode to go out into the world, because truly those last 2 points that I gave you will transform anyone and everyone's business who hears it. And I am so grateful for you, for everybody who's listening, who's watching on YouTube. I love you. I appreciate you. And I will see you guys in the next one.